Cool. We're cooking. And it looks to
Are
me
we
like it's just sharing the one screen. So we'll double check with
okay?
the chat, but I don't think there's a double screen problem.
Awesome. We're
Well,
live,
welcome in
right?
everyone. My name's John. Today we are with our friend Apon, and we are going to do a collaborative project review. So you can see his digital resume he's got shared up on the screen. We're going to go through that. There's a couple other links that we're going to show you, and then we'll do a little bit of feedback. And if we have time, we'll do some audience Q&A. So with that, um, let's hear maybe 60-second intro, Apon. What brings you
Yeah.
to, and maybe you could drop in, how did you hear about Latterly as well?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Well, first, let's just start with that. Latterly, I just saw it on TikTok. And I will be honest, I followed you because you were a staff suite. That's like I really value mentorship, and it's also my dream job. Um, Really quick, I did a bachelor's in fin math at first, and then I switched to math to graduate earlier. That's where I got introduced with like how much I love programming. I started building my own algorithms and scripts. Soon that became my own website. Then after that, my first ever software engineering experience was actually my own startup with two others. It didn't work, but the MTA liked what I did in the back end, and that's really been my focus throughout my short career so far. Um, yeah, I went to the MTA, New York City subway system, and then to the Department of Health. Again, focusing mainly in the back end, but also doing a lot of full stack, especially at the MTA. Then around the same time at the Department of Health, I was at NYC AGLLC, which I got through like someone at the MTA, and that's when I did a lot of data engineering work and really enjoyed that too. And right now, pursuing a little startup with this idea right now with this project.
Cool. All right. Let me give you a kudos for even though your early career, you're still getting on the stream. And that is a superpower. So for you, kudos. And if you're in the chat, this is something that I recommend. If you get started, don't wait until you're a senior or a staff or principal. Start making content, even if you're still in school. And there's going to be somebody who wants to listen to that. You're going to have peers who are in school with you. If you just graduated, now you're an early career engineer, but hey, there's people that aren't even that far and they want to hear about how did you get the internship? How did you get that first job? Right. All
Yeah.
right. So I think that's really good. So why don't you tell us one or two things start to go through this digital resume?
Yeah, first it just started off with I always saw myself as a backend engineer, and my original resume on my website was just a little HTML attribute. And then I realized that doesn't look great to recruiters, so I started tweaking it. And keep in mind, I'm a math background, always loved data for a really long time. So that's really what kind of prompted a lot of the features, right? So one, I do like the UI. I changed, I really did focus on the background color, but here has a nice little format, which I've gone through so many formats and just like looking at Reddit, and I know Latterly definitely has to have something here, right? And has your three links. I feel like as a software engineer, you should have. Portfolio is like an optional one, but there's a little bit more detail and nuance to that, which I plan to show later, right? But for now, just like what the project is at the front end, right? You can filter through certain skills, right? You have so like with Python, right? It shows you 10 bullet points found, and its content rate is 41.7%, which is awesome because ATS and recruitment seems like a black box, but here you get to see like, oh, this is how an ATS screening might actually see you, right? And it's also it's color coded, which I really enjoyed doing, right? Orange was because of JavaScript, that's why it's front end, and it's orange and it highlights everything. Also little cool features like I like green, so like when you hover over it becomes green, right? Then with .NET databases, Power Platform, and every time you switch, it just moves over smoothly, and it's a very lightweight app, so I really like that for speed. And I'm also hosted on a free plan, so that's nice. And then with DevOps, and then you can do a custom search like SaaS, software as a service, is a pretty big one, and it's only like one of them, right? And it's in this like gray highlighting. And then there's the option for PDF version, so if you click on it, you can see the PDF, which is not a one-to-one right now. I definitely have to work on that. But if you look here in it shows you how many total visits there are, HTML views, and PDF views. And PDF views, right now I'm only using it as an assumption to see like how many people are actually like interested in downloading my work or my resume for actual like consideration for like a candidacy or open position.
Awesome. All right, chat. If you're liking the video so far, go ahead and tap like. On TikTok, you can actually tap the screen multiple times and give it multiple likes, and that's going to help the social media algorithm send the video around so even more people can become aware of this project. We want to boost up our friends, but we also want to teach people how to actually build stuff. And then I think we're going to touch a little bit on the job search, right? So we want to help
Yeah.
people get jobs. Everybody needs that. Okay, so these are some really cool features. Is there anything else you want to say about this
Yeah,
view?
no, but I do want to transition to. So keep in mind, I'm a backend engineer. Although this is beautiful, right? The real beauty in my eyes is in the backend, and it's something you said, right? Insights about job searches, right? And before I move on to show you, I've talked to so many recruiters. I graduated like it's been a bit more than a year, and you will hear a recruiter say, do A or B. And then a recruiter will be like, no, that's terrible. Do C or D. Right. And it just like keeps you, it feels like a black box, but it's not, because truth is like with math, right? There's like something concrete. With recruitment, it's whatever the whim of the recruiter is, right? Or the company's culture. So here, one of these instances is a recruiter said, no one's no one's going to really focus on your portfolio link, right? Main thing they're going to look at is mainly LinkedIn and at best GitHub. And she said that you must have a GitHub, right? If you're in tech or specifically like software engineering. Now, if in the back end, all this data is collected, right? So if you see my LinkedIn is clicked 43 times out of the 1830 times, and my portfolio is actually at 60 times, and my GitHub is at 41. So it's given me insights that you can't really just read online, right? And you're going to hear different versions from like different recruiters, but the truth is like your portfolio does matter, right? And next best thing is LinkedIn, and then it's GitHub. And part of the reason why I incorporated that is because we all have responsibilities beyond just like a career. And if you're short on time and you have to focus on one part of yourself as like a candidate, right? Which should you focus on? And I realize mine is my portfolio, right? And it might be different for you, so who knows? But it also, like here, it tracks like how many times a skill has been clicked, and clearly Python's my most in-demand skill, right? Followed up by front end, and then my database, and then Power Apps, right? Which is a proprietary Microsoft thing. I also track geolocation, right? And in tech, part of the reason is like if I see 100 clicks from Nebraska, I'm pretty sure like, oh, some company in embedded system wants me. If it's New York, I'm probably going to think fintech, right? It kind of gives me an idea of that. And then like right now I have a lot more keys that are empty, and that's just for more features I plan to incorporate.
Awesome. All right. Four things that you said that I really love. One, you built a project that solves a problem that you had, right? That gets us away from the cookie cutter boilerplate. That's an awesome portfolio piece. Second thing you said is you're on a free tier. I love that. People, we can build quality portfolio pieces for a free tier. You can do it. I encourage it. You don't need to be paying for expensive services to be hosting your stuff. Third thing is I love that you're collecting this individual level data that's specific to you. So it's true. We have like best practices that are kind of best for the average person, right? But if you can get tailored information that's specific to you, it's always going to be better. So those best practices, they're not the end goal, they're just the starting point. And then you want to collect information specific to the role that you're targeting, specific to what are people actually doing on my profile, my LinkedIn profile? What are people actually doing with my specific resume? And by the way, I think he quickly showed the Latterly recommendation on how to optimize your LinkedIn and your resume. And you're going to hear
Hmm.
echoes of the same thing, which is, hey, here's a starting point. You can get a template resume, but then start trying to do things and get data for you and do A/B tests on your own things to optimize what you're going for. And I love that you showed that you're getting a bunch of this data that lets you do these specific insights. And then the fourth thing was recruiters will be disagreeing with each other, don't they?
Always. But I will say, and I'm just gonna continue on your comments, right? Although they disagree, I've actually taken real testimonials from recruiters and other people, right? An interviewer, almost verbatim said it's the best interactive resume she has seen. And at the time I was a little surprised. Like I thought I was like the first person ever that made something like this. And she's from UKG, the Kronos Group, right? Um, but this part of the main reason why I started this as pursuing this as a startup is because yes, it was valuable to me, but I was at a career expo event, right? And it was this testimonial, right? Somebody mentioned that they were having problems, and I was like, dude, my thing shares it. My thing solves these problems, and I asked to share it. I did, connected with people. Um, the expo speaker actually asked me to follow up with her personally, right? So I knew I had something there, right? And then I started asking like classmates who weren't friends with me, right? So they have like no reason to be dishonest to, save my feelings or not hurt my feelings. And they started saying that they would pay like, I was thinking like what, maybe $5 a month for this kind of service. That like you just update your resume, upload your resume, and then you boom, you have a web page. They were thinking like somewhere like from $9 to $15. But the good news is for all the viewers, right? If you go on this GitHub link, right? Uh, this is completely free and open source, right? You can just where is it? You can just clone the repo. Obviously, just make your changes, right? You don't want to be in an interview and show Apon's resume. You want to show your own one. Um, yeah. So a little gift from John's stream today.
I love that. I'm biased. Latterly is open source too. I like this approach of, hey, let's make something open source. And then if we want to monetize it, let's do a hosted version. It makes it easier. So the end user doesn't need to clone it down and customize everything. But giving them that option, I think that's really beautiful. You don't have to do that. You could go closed source. It's fine. No shade. But
Yeah,
you get an
it's not.
extra green flag from me if you have an open source part of your software. Three things that you called out there when you were sharing this concept with others, there was an element of social networking, right? And one thing you said
Mhm.
was classmates. And one thing you said was the speaker or talking to people at an in person, face to face event. And then the third thing is what you're doing right now is social media. So if you're in the audience and you're like, yo, I got this idea, but I don't know how to network with people. Well, there's a bunch of ways to do it. And you got three right there. And one of them, social media, you can pick up your iPhone or Android or whatever you have. You can start posting on TikTok today for free, and don't try to block yourself and say, "Hey, I need to have really high production quality." No, you don't. On a platform like TikTok, just go look at some of my videos. Some of them, the production quality is low, and you'll still get hundreds of views. You just got to hang in there. It's an element of consistency. All right. Anything else that you want to share, Apon, or should we start to go for a little bit of feedback? One thing I want to ask you is if someone in the audience wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah. So you can always just go to my LinkedIn here, right? Um, is just my Tashrif Apon, right? Like that. Or here, let's just go to my portfolio here. Uh, I have my TikTok link there. You can do a chat request. Instagram, I don't really use. I don't think GitHub has a chat feature. But here, contact wise, uh, I am putting my number out there. Please text first, but I'm best reachable via email. Even my friends know that. So if one of my friends is in the chat, yeah, shoot me email. I'll probably
Cool.
respond better there.
We do have one audience question. I'll go ahead and take this because I think it's like
Mm-hmm.
the kind of question that is not going to have a rabbit trail. Thank you for the question, Jaden. Jaden on LinkedIn. So Jaden says, how many interviews are you getting with this resume?
So the resume isn't what really helps get me the interviews, right? It has been a topic of discussion during the interviews, but it really does just depend on uh stuff you'll see in Latterly's blog about a resume optimization, and that's really what gets me those interviews, right? Uh, but what this does solve is that think of it more as like LinkedIn Premium, just with much more data. And no offense to LinkedIn and Microsoft, Premium doesn't really give you enough individualized data to like give you insights, whereas this does, right? It shows me how many people are actually clicking it. So whenever I was interviewing with a company, I know where they're located. I can see how many, like if you go here, there was like a company, right? UCF. I was doing it with them, right? Like they were in Orlando, Florida, right? So I can see like how many times are they really interested in me? Seems like 9 times, right? Another company was like in Pennsylvania, and I think they beat the 9, right? So stuff like that helps me throughout the interview process. But just in terms of getting to the interview, I'm being honest, this is not going to help you one bit at all, right? What's going to help you is John's web page here and probably other blogs on his website, right? And it's just about optimizing your resume, right? And it's a hard challenge, right? You're a complex person with so much to tell, right? But you have to fit it into black and white, black text, right? And into one page. So yeah,
Yep.
and I think John's better suited to help you with that.
Lay me add a few notes there. Since I'm on the spot, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the shout out. We talked about the LinkedIn and resume optimization. That's the article that Apon has been showing. Audience, I would also encourage you to look at blog article number 15, which is on cover letters and resume tailoring. And in particular, there's a section which is called an original contribution of data. And the short version of the article is that I don't recommend customizing your resume for every application. I think it's a bad return on investment for your time. But the more important thing is that the original contribution of data shows a regression chart that explains the expected application to interview ratio. And if you use a resume that follows the practices suggested in the resume optimization article, without anything else, just applying at volume, then you can expect about a 1% application to interview ratio. Now, some people think that that's low. A lot of people are actually doing worse than that. If you're doing worse than that, it might indicate that your resume has a flaw. But even if you're doing that well, we still want to do better. How do you do better? In that article 15, I say that the secret sauce is social networking. It's social networking. And so the difference between a low effort and a high effort application is a 10x performance differential. A low effort application means, hey, I hit the LinkedIn easy apply button, or I went to Indeed and I used the easy apply button, but I didn't do any social networking. I just did easy apply. So you're going to get around 1% if your resume is high quality. If your resume is low quality, you're going to be under 1%. But if you want to do better than 1% application to interview ratio, you need to be social networking. And in particular, if you can get a referral, that's about a 30x benefit. Now, not every time that you talk to somebody, you get a referral, right? So you have to multiply by the outreach to referral success rate. But what you're going to see is if you follow social networking best practices, and those are documented in other articles on the Laterally website, then you can reasonably expect that 5 to 10% range. If you have a high quality resume, if you have a high quality LinkedIn, if you're doing social networking and you're still under 5%, I would recommend you reach out for help at that point. Talk to some people, get some advice. You can talk to me, maybe you can ping Apon, maybe you have a recruiter in your
Mm-hmm.
network who would be willing to help. But try to get some actual help at that point if you're not seeing even 5%. One of the pitfalls that I see is that people want to try to, I can do this all by myself. And y'all, it's a team sport. It's a team sport. You're going to get a lot of benefit from talking to some people.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just to kind of prove John's point, this role, NYCAJ LLC, was actually it's not it's not like social networking 100%, but it is from socializing, and it's from socializing with someone while I was at the MTA that I was able to get this position. And it was a contract role, but nonetheless a role with experience and opportunity. And right now, same guy loves my work, so he's we're talking about on another venture for a different contract, right? So it does pay off. And I do want to go back. I know I said to Jaden that this is not going to help you at all. And yes, right now as it is, it's not going to help you at all, right? But I am working on this startup, right? And this one, which I'm showing you, is Resame, right? A wordplay on resume. I think is very clever. I hope you do too. But right now it's at the stage. The next step I want to go to is as more people join the platform, because it's only one person, me. The more people that join in, right, I'm gonna start seeing like Jaden, say you're a software engineer, right, and me, and then John is also on this platform, right, but we see like at best, like me and Jaden, we're getting what, 10 views per week, right? But we're applying to 100 jobs. So our application isn't even being opened. And this is one thing that helps you, right? If you're applying to 1,000 jobs, but you're only getting like 10 clicks to this website, means that no one's actually like, like what, 0.1% only, no, 1% looking at you, right? But now if we see John has like he's getting 500 views, so like a 50% retention rate on like applications or transfer rate, then my program is going to look at his resume, see his keywords, right? His even consider his school, right? His years of experience, what he has that we don't have, and then share it in an email newsletter, right? Relevant to whatever career you choose, right? Uh, and share that with you, and that's how it's going to help you get interviews in an indirect way, but a helpful way nonetheless. And I don't think there's anything on the market right now
Not that I
like
know of.
doing that. Yeah.
So it's going to serve as a community analytics engine, and it's going to help uncover
Oh, I
explanatory
love that.
features. That's
Oh, I
awesome,
love
dude.
that.
That's awesome. All right. And then
Wait, say
Tastic
that
on
again.
TikTok.
Community analytics engine. I'm gonna, whenever I
Take
apply
notes,
to
bro.
VCs, yeah, I'm gonna use that. Thank you.
You got it. Tastic on TikTok says good advice. Thank you so much, Tastic. Quick reminder, if you've recently joined the stream, I'm chatting with Apon. We're talking about this digital resume platform that he's got set up. This is one example of, it could be a portfolio piece or it could be the start of a startup, right? And you don't need to have a black or white thing. You can do a gradient here. You can start as a portfolio piece and then you can just kind of scale up in your free time. You got that 9 to 5 time, and then you got after work if you want to optionally do some more. That's one of the reasons software engineering is an awesome career choice, because you can kind of scale it up as much as you want to if you want to. Quick reminder, if
Mm-hmm.
you're joining the stream recently, give the stream some likes to help the video send it around the social media algorithm. Appreciate you so much. Okay, anything else, or are you ready to turn to some feedback?
Yeah, ready to
Okay.
turn into some feedback.
First thing I like that it's personalized. Anytime someone brings a portfolio piece to me, I'm going to try to say, hey, does this look like everything else or does it look a little bit different? And one of the ways that you can make it different is you can personalize it to the feature set, or you can personalize the look and feel. And you've done both. So kudos on that. I like the colors here. I'm going to nitpick the colors a little bit in a couple cases. One is going to be the custom search is a little bit on the low contrast side. And then the style of the custom search has the sharp border radius. It would be a little more harmonious of a look and feel if it was rounded border radius along with those buttons. Another thing I really like is the hover effect on these buttons. So it really pops as a user. I'm really sure that my cursor is over that button because I get that thick border radius, right? I love that. And then I click front end. I have the orange button and it matches with the orange highlighting. Really like it, really like it. If I hover my mouse over 1830 visits, that's what it is showing on my screen, my cursor actually vanishes.
Yeah, I
So,
did that intentionally. I don't know if it's a bad
oh,
thing.
okay. I would personally, so with design, it's really subjective. And if you want to get a
Mm-hmm.
fair assessment, just like you're talking to the recruiters, right? You talk to one recruiter and they may disagree with another recruiter. And what we should do is we should listen to recruiters in general, but that doesn't mean that you have to listen to any specific recruiter. So you
Yeah,
actually
no,
want to get
I
feedback from a group of them. And same thing for user experience design. I'll give you my notes, but really my notes are not gospel. I'm just one data point. You're going to want to talk to
mm-hmm.
like 10, 20 people and kind of see what are the themes. My personal opinion is no, just like when I hover over a button and it's really clear that's where I'm hovering, I would like to be able to hover over those numbers and maybe get an underline or change the font color, something like that.
Wait, can you go a bit more, like, what do you mean? Like, if on the, say, like the first bullet point in the experience, like when I say 200 plus, when I hover over it, what do you want to see there?
Nope, that looks good. I'm talking about under the PDF version button.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay.
So
So,
do you
oh,
hover
you
your
want to
mouse
see the
under that?
colors change? Yeah, and the cursor goes away. You want you want like the same kind of color change for it?
Either a color change or an underline. Yeah, something like that.
Mm. I I I do want to comment on that, right? Because generally whenever there's a hover change or like an underline happens, right? It means like it's clickable and it goes to a certain link, right?
Yep.
The only thing is like these wouldn't do that.
Yep. So we don't need to. You could do a couple things. You could make it clickable. Maybe PDF views brings you over to a report of some kind, but that could be scope creep. Maybe we don't want to do that. The real reason that the current state bugs me is because if I rest my mouse there for a minute, I forget where my mouse is.
Yeah, yeah, same.
So even if there's not an underline or a color change, if I can just see my mouse, I would actually prefer that personally.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm taking notes, by the way. Also like to chat. Yeah, I think it's good to take feedback, and John's pretty nice about it.
Love it, man. That's really my only other notes. So the resume itself, you already covered this, but I'll just echo for the chat. The HTML form of the resume and the PDF form of the resume are not aligned. I would kind of expect them to be aligned. The other thing is
Yeah.
when I'm looking at the resume, I'm not sure if certain elements are ATS parsable. And maybe it's fine, but I would just check it. And I sent you the resume optimization article that has the
Hmm.
specific ATS tests that I recommend. One of the things that I'm particularly concerned about is the abbreviated dates on the right hand side. You might have not all ATS act the same. Some of them, maybe that's fine, but some of them might not be able to parse that abbreviation.
Mm.
So I would just double check it.
All right, thank you. As far as I know, and this is to chat, especially my Mac users and like the Apple ecosystem loyalists like me. Um, I when initially I used to do my so my resume, it used to be done in Pages and then converted into a PDF, right? And I noticed like like it'll autofill and then there's like weird gaps that happen. So I switched from Pages to Microsoft Word and it's been a complete game changer. As far as I can tell, apart from the dates, the words like that autofilling is now like smooth now. So if you're on Apple, you might not want to. You might consider going to Word from Pages.
That's a really good tip. If people in the audience are not sure how to test whether the ATS is working, I give one test that I recommend in the article, but not all ATS are the same. And it is a really good test to, like Apon is saying, just go use it. And if it's parsing correctly, that's actually the same set of technologies that we're trying to satisfy. So if the autofill from PDF is working for you, that's a green flag that your resume actually is parsable by ATS pretty well. And that is all I have for you, man. Otherwise, I think this is a solid project. Again, kudos to you for being here. Kudos to you for doing this. If you're in the audience, if
Appreciate
you're
it.
intimidated at the complexity of this project, you can start small. You'll be
Wait,
surprised how many people have zero. How many people have zero projects on their GitHub? So, step one is get anything there. Step two is get something that's a little more personalized there. And then the third one that I do is I'll make a portfolio site, which just links to the other two. And by the time you got three projects, now you're really in the top tier, at least as far as early career individuals are concerned.
uh, I just want to showcase something, right? And I feel the same. I see other people's projects, and I'm like, I feel like I'm at the base of Mount Everest, and it feels impossible. So I do want to share this. This is also a project on my portfolio. It was inspired by a probability course, right? So John, I'm just gonna type your name in today. It's called the Motor Motto Project, and pretty simple, right? Please don't be intimidated, and it just looks for an alias. So John, you don't have any other aliases. Uh, in the English language at least, and it just shows like all the permutations of your name or the strings, right?
Love it.
So yeah, so see, completely fine.
All
Maybe
right.
not
Any other
completely
final
fine.
notes, or are you ready to wrap up?
Ready to wrap up. Wait, real quick. I am looking for collaborators right now. I don't have like investing money, right? But I am pursuing this as a startup. So if any of you want to just connect to work on this, I'm specifically looking for other software engineers, right? To collaborate with me on this. Please shoot me a message in however of the 4 ways I told you.
Cool. Do you want to show your the tab one more time that has the email and the TikTok on it?
Oh yeah. So it's on my normal web page, right? So my home, right? Just go to Tashrif Apon. Can you put this in the chat, by the way?
Yeah, and on YouTube, I will put it in the video description as well, on YouTube
Yeah.
specifically.
Uh, if it feels like I was bragging today, let me just disagree with that and I'll let you know that this is not mobile friendly yet. So please open it on desktop. And here you can see like my TikTok, Instagram. I don't really use it. LinkedIn. Please give me a follow on TikTok actually, because I am thinking about posting stuff I've been learning about the job process and definitely some controversial stuff that some people might think is cancel worthy. So let's see about that. And then my contact here is just my phone number and my email.
Cool. All right, chat. Apon, thank you again for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Chat, encourage y'all to connect. And if you are in the chat and you would like to have a project review, you can shoot me a message on that. And we can do that with or without a stream. That'll be up to you and time allowing on my side. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you'll follow the
Thank you
page.
for having
See you
me.
next time.